Hi, hello, namaste. A very warm welcome to bio classes and myself Avinash. So you know that. And since many days I was eagerly waiting for a kind of interaction with you people. Right now I'm here. Of course, since many days you are going with online classes only. And even most of the students are tired of these YouTube classes, continuous YouTube classes. But of course the situation is like that only. I think hardly we have to continue with online classes like this in this manner up to 1 month, maximum 1 month. So in the next month most probably we will come to the college environment, and we all the lectures, that means entire expert institutions, we are eagerly waiting to meet you in the college environment, right? It's already in botany portion, so maximum chapters have been completed, and we are in continuation with one major chapter, that is a molecular basis of inheritance. And from theory point of view, from competitive examination point of view, from CET or from NEET point of view, so this is a major chapter, and in a theory examination you are going to get 10 marks from this chapter alone. So it is on a major chapter, molecular basis of inheritance, and already maximum portion has been completed from this chapter. I think from gene regulation onwards, so we need to start the molecular basis of inheritance chapter once again from gene regulation onwards. So, and due to some personal problems, Renu sir is unable to continue the classes from today onwards. So I am going to handle whatever the portion remained in the botany track. So this chapter, molecular basis of inheritance, and biotechnology chapters also, right? So here, if I'm coming to our class, the molecular basis of inheritance. Already we have completed major concepts, some interesting experiments, some interesting concepts, and some basic mechanisms related to the DNA and DNA related aspects. Already most of the things we have seen. And one more thing, it is a very interesting chapter, in the same way a volatile chapter also. Why I am considering this chapter as volatile means, unless if you are putting effort on this chapter, today you are having a look on this chapter, and if you don't revise this chapter, if you don't revise the concept, means within 2 or 3 days, so it seems to be fuzzle, this chapter concepts. And because of that reason I am telling you whatever the concepts we are going to discuss. So after completion of that watching of this video, so once again while watching the video only, once you make the running notes, and I will also provide the notes, and so maintain and prepare on systematic notes. Yes, so here, as already we know, molecular base. So molecular base means some special molecules present in our cell or whatever the organism it might be, special molecules, and that molecule, it is a base for what? Inheritance. Here what actually that inheritance is? So pattern of heredity, or it is the mechanism how the characters being transferred from one generation to another generation. That pattern we will call it as inheritance. That means for any characters to be transferred from our parents to offspring, or to be transferred from one generation to another generation, there must be one master molecule in every cell. That master molecule present in molecular form, and that is base for inheritance. That means that is base for any characters to be expressed. So that base we will consider it as a genetic material. That molecular base is nothing but genetic material, that is. So majorly, as already we know, just I am revising a few things just. So as already we know, the two major genetic materials we are having, one is RNA, another one is a DNA. In maximum organisms, DNA act as a genetic material. What is the DNA? Deoxyribose nucleic acid. And in few organisms, that is particularly in few viruses, RNA is acting as genetic material. And so here, regarding the DNA, we are having some special mechanisms, and already have studied all those things. So you observe what actually the DNA is, what is the meaning of DNA, how the DNA is constructed, that is the structure of DNA, you observed that one. And the next thing you observed, the investigation of the DNA, that means how scientists actually came to know the DNA is acting as a genetic material. Why? Because the total cell is considered to be the full of many chemical molecules. That means just like a swimming pool. In the swimming pool, if you consider water is there, in the water if you spread the different molecules, how the total cytoplasm content will be looking like, in the same way inside the cell also same. That means cell is having many chemicals, many biomolecules. Out of all the biomolecules, how the scientist came to know DNA is the genetic material. So regarding that one, we observed some experiment. Griffith experiment we observed. So already you have studied that one. Griffith experiment, Hershey and Chase experiment. So such kind of experiments you observed. And after completing that one, we observed one more interesting session, that is central dogma. That means this whole chapter depending majorly on this central dogma. What actually the central dogma is? It is the transfer of genetic information from DNA to RNA and RNA to polypeptide. Once again, the central dogma. Who gave that a central dogma concept actually? Yes, who gave that one? Yes, Francis Crick. Watson and Crick model of DNA, we observed that one. So there Francis Crick, he gave that a central dogma concept. According to him, DNA, it has stored a genetic information. What actually that genetic information is? See here, how actually we are looking today, how exactly we are having, that means characters. Even though all we are human beings, our characters are different. That means every organism is specific from the point of its characters. That means characters are controlled, or characters are expressed by the genes, and a genes are present in the DNA, and a DNA is present in the genomic form, right? So that total DNA, it has collected so many information in the hidden form. So many, lot of information is present in the DNA, and that hidden information present in the DNA to be expressed. So while expressing, first DNA produces one single stranded mRNA, or let us consider RNA. That means first DNA produces RNA, and that RNA next helps in the production of one polypeptide chain. That polypeptide chain next converting into protein. That protein, it may be converted into enzyme, or it may be converted into hormone, whatever the product it might be, and those products are giving one particular character. This is how the flow of information is there. That means what actually that central dogma is? The flow of genetic information from DNA to RNA, RNA to polypeptide. That we will call it as central dogma. So in the central dogma, we observe DNA producing RNA, what that process is? Transcription. Yes. RNA producing polypeptide chain, what that process is? Yes, translation. Transcription, translation. So flow of genetic information. So for example, right now I am having one message in my mind. So I need to send that message to someone else who is present in a far distance away. So if I want to send this message which is present in my mind, I have to text that message in my mobile. That means information transferred to mobile, right? And from the mobile, that text get transferred to his mobile, that another guy, to his mobile, the message has been transferred. That means another form, the message has been transferred in the text form. There he is going to read that message. But while transferring of this entire message, so it always occurs in coded form. In the same way, DNA also having lot of information present in code forms, and that coded information in the DNA, it is particularly segmented, it is particularly it is present in one particular portion, and that portion we will call it as a gene. What we will call it as gene. And again, in the genes we are having many types, but here the basic question will be arised: what actually that gene is, and how the genes, that means their expression, get controlled. A very interesting concept. So let's have a look on the gene expression and how the gene expression get controlled here. Yes, the first thing we will come to know what actually this gene is. Gene means it is a segment of DNA, it is a part of DNA, and that part of DNA should express for one particular trait or for particular character. So we are having lot of characters, not only human beings, not only multicellular organism, all the cells who are having a genetic material, all those cells or organisms are expressing particular characters, and those characters are expressed because of presence of gene. Gene means, take one sense in your mind, gene means segment of DNA or part of the DNA, and those gene expression. So expression means that gene has to produce something in the cell, and due to the production of that material, the body has to show one character, the body has to show one particular character. Then we can say gene is expressed, gene expression. And thing is, the expression of gene, it is a controlled mechanism. That means there is one particular regulation for that thing. So just before going to that, let me consider two organelles, liver and brain, just in the general sense, to understand what actually the gene expression and how it is controlled, just in the broad sense. Imagine liver and brain, these are the two distinct organs present in our body only, and here liver cells we will call them as hepatocytes or hepatic cells. Brain cells we will call them as neurons. And consider here, one hepatic cell, one and neuron, both are totally different. From structurally both the cells are different, from functionally both the cells are different. And here, if we consider liver, one basic work let us consider, that is detoxification. Of alcohol. Let us consider, if a person is taking too much of alcohol, then alcohol is considered to be one toxic material right onto our body. It is one toxic material, it is one poisonous material, and that alcohol, it is a detoxified. So that alcohol is detoxified by one particular enzyme, dehydrogenase enzyme, alcohol dehydrogenase enzyme. And those enzymes are produced in the liver, right? Those enzymes are produced in liver. That means liver work is a detoxification of alcohol. Coming to brain, brain is having neurons. Already you know what actually the neurons are, the structures of neuron, all the things you know. If we consider neuron, so neurons cannot produce the alcohol dehydrogenase enzymes, those cells cannot produce, but neuron cells will help in sending off signals, right? So here in the brain, neurons work is sending signals. Sending of signals. Now here the question will be arised. Liver cells function is different, brain cell function is different. Why? Here in the liver one particular enzyme produced, in the brain it's a particular material get produced. Material means protein. I am talking about protein. Here liver produces one particular protein, brain produces one particular protein. Why? Because liver cells are different, brain cells are different. But imagine liver, brain, heart, kidney, lungs, liver, intestine, whatever the organ it might be. All the organs, all the body parts, all the body cells are produced from zygote. Just one cell, right? So that zygote, whatever the DNA it is having, the set of DNA, same set of DNA present in a liver cell as well as a brain cell. But question is, in the liver, one particular gene is there. What is that gene? Alcohol dehydrogenase gene. That gene expressed in the liver and helps in detoxification of alcohol. But that gene cannot express in the brain. And in the brain, neurotransmitter producing gene is there. Which gene? Neurotransmitter producing gene. Just one example I am telling you. In the brain, neurotransmitter producing gene is there. That gene expressed in the brain, in the neuron cells. But that gene cannot express in the liver. But thing is, liver also having both the gene, brain also having both the gene, but here that gene, only one gene expressed, here only one gene is expressed. Now the question will be arised, even though all cells in our body having the same set of DNA, having same number of genes, why some cells will express only some genes? That means why some genes are expressed in some cells, why other genes are expressed in other cells? The question will be arised. Or else, say for example, pancreas is there. The pancreas produces insulin hormone. Now the question will be arised, whether insulin producing gene present in pancreas cells only? Yes, question will be arised. It is not so. Pancreas, that means insulin gene present in the DNA of all the cells of our body. But inside pancreas only that gene is expressed. That means for expressing every gene there must be regulator. That means something is going to control the expression of genes in particular place in particular time. Then the question will be arised, how actually the gene get regulated? Of course, genes are expressed, not all the genes, few genes. Again, why it is so? Question will be arised. As already we know, we are having two sets of DNA. The first one is euchromatin and the next one is heterochromatin, right? Euchromatin and heterochromatin. We are having two portions in the DNA. And what is the percentage of euchromatin? Just 2%, and heterochromatin is 98%. That means in total 100% of DNA, what is the total length of DNA? Yes, 2.2 meter. Out of 2.2 meter, about 98% of DNA is heterochromatin. That means that DNA cannot work, or that DNA is transcriptionally inactive. That means the active portion of DNA is just 2%. And in this 2% DNA, how many genes are present? Those genes are expressing, gene expression. And those gene expression, it is very much regulated, very much controlled. That means depending on the controlling mechanism, we can get the product, right? So in this class, let us see what actually the gene expression is, how actually the genes are going to express, and how actually the genes are going to be regulated here. So regarding that one, we are having two types of organisms, as already we know. One is eukaryotic cell. Let us consider cells, eukaryotic cell, and another one is prokaryotic cell. Yes, so we are having two kinds of cells, eukaryotic cell and a prokaryotic cell. What actually that eukaryotic cell is? The cell which is having the true nucleus. And prokaryotic cell means the cell which is not having the nucleus or no true nucleus. So when I am saying about regarding the nucleus means at that time the organism complexity also changes. Here compared to prokaryotic organisms, eukaryotic organisms are complicated. That means eukaryotic cells are complicated. When eukaryotic cells are complicated, automatically their gene expression also complicated. It is a little bit difficult. That means gene expression in case of eukaryotic genes, it occurs in different levels, and in the prokaryotic cell, if we consider their DNA, if we consider their genes of eukaryotic DNA, their gene expression is very much simple, and its regulation also simple. So regulation point of view, it is simple, right? So in that sense, how the gene expression get controlled in a eukaryotic cell and how the gene expression get controlled in prokaryotic cell. So we have to look those two things one by one. Let me consider the first one, gene expression in the case of prokaryotic cells. Yes, gene expression in a prokaryotic cell, right? Okay, so instead of going that one, let me consider first one, eukaryotic cell. Let us see the first one, gene expression in a eukaryotic cell regarding its regulation. So just one simple example, we are having a stove, a cylinder with a stove. So in the stove there will be a regulator, right? Cylinder stove, we are having a regulator. So as we move the regulator clockwise or anti-clockwise direction, the intensity of the flame also changes. If you move the regulator in this direction, the flame intensity will be decreased. If you move if it is there in the straight line, that means a regulator, then intensity of the flame is more. And if you turn this side, the total flame will be exhausted. There is no fire. That means this channel we will consider as a regulator, right? In the same way, of course genes are expressed, but that expression should be limited, or the expression should be controlled. So that controlling we will call it as a regulation. That means someone has to control, and that control is not present in just one level, it is present in many levels. So what are those levels in case of eukaryotic cells? As I already told you, eukaryotic cells are complicated cells. Why? Because those are having the nucleus. Of course the question will be arised, of course if the eukaryotic cells are having the nucleus means why it is complicated? Yes, the question will be arised. Why it is complicated means, see, imagine in the case of eukaryotic cell, transcription occurs in the nucleus and translation occurs in the cytoplasm. That means transcription translation places are different, but in case of prokaryotic cell, transcription and translation occurs in the cytoplasm only. Why? Because there is no nucleus. And one more thing, in case of eukaryotic cell, in between transcription and translation there is a time gap, but in case of eukaryotic it occurs both, that means both the process occurs continuously. Because of that reason it is complicated. Eukaryotic cell, that means gene expression is complicated, right? So in case of eukaryotic cell, gene expression can be regulated at 4 levels. So levels of gene regulation, gene expression regulation. Which are those 4 levels? The question will be arised. Next one. The first one, gene regulation can be controlled at transcription level. First thing is, gene regulation can be controlled at a transcriptional level. Yes, transcriptional level. What actually the transcription is? Transcription means the passing of or transferring of genetic information from a DNA to RNA, or in the simple way, production of RNA from the DNA. Production of RNA from the DNA. Right? We are having three types of RNAs: rRNA, mRNA, tRNA, whatever RNA it might be. Production of RNA from the DNA, we will call it as transcription. So at the transcription level, we can control a gene expression, right? So just I told you, transcription level. So transcription level means here hnRNA production. Actually we are talking about hnRNA production, not mRNA. hnRNA, as already you know what actually this hnRNA is. H means heterogeneous, N means nuclear. Heterogeneous nuclear RNA, hnRNA. And what actually this hnRNA is? It is the precursor of mRNA. Yes, it is the precursor of mRNA. That means hnRNA, it is the earlier form of mRNA. mRNA means it is the active form, hnRNA it is the inactive form, or hnRNA it is the preliminary form. If the hnRNA get modified, then it becomes mRNA. That means when hnRNA we will call it as a primary transcript. What we will call it as primary transcript. That means during transcription, the first primary product we will get is hnRNA. Primary transcript converted into mRNA. So at this level we can control the gene expression. Second level, we can control the gene expression at post-transcriptional level. I will consider that a post-transcriptional level as a modification. Okay, let me write here completely. Post-transcriptional level. So gene regulation can be controlled at a post-transcriptional level. So actually that post-transcriptional level, especially we will consider it as a splicing. That means during splicing we can control that one. So this is the second thing. So already we have heard this term. What actually that splicing is? Right. We have heard three conditions, three terms: capping, tailing, splicing. Capping, tailing, splicing. All the three processes together we will call it as a post-transcriptional process, or in the simple way, modification. Modification of what? Modification of hnRNA into mRNA. Or the simple thing is, when hnRNA converted into mRNA, then we will consider it as a post-transcriptional level or post-transcriptional process. There the major step is splicing. What actually that splicing is? Removal of introns, joining of exons. Removal of introns, joining of exons. That we will consider it as a splicing. As already we know. What actually that intron is? It is the inactive portion of hnRNA. In the hnRNA, inactive portion or the non-expressing form of hnRNA, we will call it as an intron, and the expressing form we will call it as an exon. Right? Removal of intron and joining of exon is considered to be the splicing. So during splicing also we can control the gene expression. Or in the simple way, let me tell you. So imagine okay, so let us consider this is one hnRNA, right? This is one hnRNA produced by the transcription. Now the hnRNA should be converted into mRNA. RNA, whether that is a double stranded or single stranded. Yes, it is a single stranded, right? So this RNA right now it is having four introns. Imagine 4 introns are present here. This is the first intron, second, third and fourth. 4 introns are present here. Now intron means it is the inactive portion, it cannot express, hence we need to cut the introns and join exons. So these are the exons. right? We are having 4 exons and 4 introns. Now what we need to do? Removal of introns. After removing the introns, we are going to join only the exons, hence hnRNA length will decrease. Then slowly it is converting into mRNA, then it becomes an active portion. Now the thing is, this removal process, what we'll call it as splicing. And here, during the removal of introns, suppose introns are removed in a different fashion, introns are removed in a different ways, then automatically exons are joined in a different ways, then automatically gene expression get changed. That means we can regulate the gene expression at a post translation level also. So that is the thing. And of course in the transcription level we can control that one. Suppose if the transcription level is not occurring properly, then there is no production of hnRNA, then no production of mRNA, then no production of polypeptide chain, then no production of protein, then no production of enzyme, then no expression of character. That means all the processes are linked. If one get disturbed, automatically all the things will be disturbed. So we can control the gene expression at 2 levels. And the third level we are having, we can control the gene expression at translation level. Controlling of a gene expression at a translation level. As already we know, the translation, the process of production of a polypeptide chain, the process of production of a polypeptide chain by using 3 RNAs, mRNA, tRNA, rRNA. That thing already we know, translation. So in a translation level also we can control the gene expression. And one thing, just keep one thing in your mind, gene is expressing means that gene has to produce one product, particular product. Here product means protein. That protein is nothing but polypeptide chain. The polypeptide chain means it is the chain of amino acids, right? And amino acids are joined one by one to form polypeptide chain. That process occurs in translation, right? So in a translation level also we can control the gene expression. So you can ask the question, how it is possible so? So as already, so you are thorough in genetics chapter I think. So there one abnormality was present. So that abnormality was sickle cell anemia, right? In a sickle cell anemia, 6th amino acid, it got changed. Yes. When the 6th amino acid got changed, automatically hemoglobin, that polypeptide chain, hemoglobin structure changed. When that structure changed, automatically shape of the RBC cell changed from normal biconcave shape into sickle shape. That means whole expression changed. Where that expression changed actually? At a translation level. Why? Because during translation level, just one amino acid changed. So in that case, transcription level okay, post translation level okay. I am talking about the HB gene. Transcription level okay, post transcription level okay, but a change occurred at a translation level. That means we can control the expression of a gene at a post transcriptional level, at a translation level. So that is the third thing. And we can control the gene expression at actually this is the fourth one. Let me write the third one. So gene expression can be controlled, that is while transferring of mRNA from nucleus into cytoplasm. Yes, this is the thing. So sorry, it is not the third one, this is the fourth one. This is the third level. How to control the gene expression. So in the third level, gene expression can be controlled while transferring of mRNA from nucleus to the cytoplasm. This is the thing. See here, just let me draw here one cell. Imagine this is one cell, and in the cell this is right now the nucleus, and here the DNA is present, right? This is the DNA, and from this DNA we got one hnRNA. This is the DNA, and DNA is having so many genes. Let us consider one gene. From that gene, first hnRNA produced, transcriptional level. That hnRNA modifying into mRNA. Next it is modified. Where actually it is modified? In the nucleus only, the hnRNA modified into mRNA. That means second level also occurs in the nucleus only. Now the produced mRNA, it cannot remain in the nucleus. It will come out of the nucleus into the cytoplasm. How it is coming outside means, here one pore is present on the nucleus. Imagine here pore is there. Through the pore, that mRNA, it will come outside, right? Here the mRNA is present. So that means the produced mRNA is transferred from a nucleus to the cytoplasm. So at that time also we can control the gene expression. We can control the gene expression at that level also. So this is the third stage, transferring of mRNA from nucleus to the cytoplasm. So at that time we can control. And fourth level, when it comes to the cytoplasm, in the cytoplasm, so there are two kinds of rRNAs, that is rRNA and tRNA, and right now this is the mRNA. Yes, mRNA coming from a nucleus into the cytoplasm combines with the rRNA and tRNA, which are already present in the nucleus. All together, rRNA, mRNA, tRNA, all together they perform translation process, and during translation also gene regulation can be controlled, right? So we are having 4 different stages, 4 different levels of controlling gene expression. In which cell? Yes, that is in eukaryotic cell. So as already told you, in a eukaryotic cell, gene expression regulation occurs at different levels, majorly 4 levels. But in case of prokaryotic cell, gene expression regulation, it is very much simple. Why? Because the first of all cell is simple, and that regulation is almost simple, and majorly occurs at a transcription level only. That means in case of eukaryotes, we can control the gene expression at this level only. So because of that reason, in your syllabus you are given with gene expression regulation in prokaryotic cell. That means in bacteria. In bacteria, how the genes get controlled. So that mechanism they have given. So regarding that mechanism, there is one interesting concept, a lac operon concept. So what is that lac? What is that operon? So we can see in the next class, right? In the next class, let us observe gene expression and its regulation in the case of a prokaryotic cell. In which cell? Prokaryotic cell. And what that prokaryotic cell is? Bacteria. In the case of bacteria. So very simple that one, how the genes get regulated in case of bacteria, and a very interesting one. Yes. And one more thing, since it is the first class of interaction between you people and me, so if you are having any queries, any doubts, so doubts mean the sense, so regarding the old concepts of this chapter, so and also if you are having any feedback, if you are having any opinions regarding the class, please use that comment box below the video. So while watching the video, you are having that comment box, so comment section, use that one and comment regarding this class. So from the next class onwards, let's continue with a very interesting concept, that is a lac operon concept in case of prokaryotic cell. Yes, thank you.